Hey guys, welcome back to our Maine homestead. I hate that we haven't been posting videos lately, but you guys know how busy the holidays can be. But thanks for tuning back in. Today, what we wanted to show you guys was a little bit of winter prep. So we've got a snowstorm that's going to be coming in this afternoon, evening, overnight. It's supposed to dump quite a bit of snow on us, about 8 inches or so. And so we wanted to take you guys along to show you some of the prep that we do before we have a snowstorm hit, and then show you guys tomorrow some of the challenges that we face after a snowstorm or a heavy snow load gets dumped on us. Hope you guys enjoy. So one thing that we do like to do before a snowstorm is obviously make some tracks along the driveway in the snow that is already on the ground so that we have a nice pathway for driving the truck up and down our driveway, which is a little less than a mile long. We also, just so happens, we need to go to the grocery store to grab a few things so that we are well stocked and prepared for being snowed in for a couple days. One of the things that we need to do first is clean off the truck, clean off all the snow that's accumulated since basically the last time we left the homestead, which I honestly can't remember when that was. Like I said, we haven't left the property in several days, so we are attempting to drive down the driveway for the first time where there's ice with a layer of snow on top of it, which seems to make it even more slick than usual than just plain ice. So we are going to attempt to get all the way down the driveway. We've got some hills that might be a little sketchy, so we're gonna see if we can make it without putting the chains on the tires. Otherwise, we'll have to stop and put those on. Very easily and didn't have to put the chains on the tires, which is nice because that's kind of a pain in the butt, but we hardly did any slipping and sliding, so yeah, so that's very promising. Now Eddie is doing a little bit of shoveling up by the road because when the snow plows come through after it has been snowing, they pile up a lot of snow at the very end of our driveway, and so that's something that we have to keep maintained because if it melts a little bit and then freezes, it turns into a giant wall of ice, and that just makes it even more difficult to move out of the way so that we can get in and out of the property as needed. So I'll go show you guys a little bit of Eddie's shoveling skills.
wintertime management's a little different than summertime, and especially with water, because water freezes, and pretty much every morning it's in the 20s. Our water typically, except in these chicken feeders, the water in the sheep barn doesn't freeze till it's really probably about below 25, and that's 25 in the barn. So what we have to do, we only have 400 square feet of heated space, so what we do is fill up buckets during the day, and then we pour out of those to water the sheep every morning. The mornings when their water's frozen, I have to take out little small tubs and dump them, and then we just pour water in tubs for them, and then of course pour it in the chicken feeders and take it to them. So these are our chicken waterers. There's not much water down in the bottom as it filters through, so it freezes very easily. So pretty much every morning this time of year it's frozen. So I have several of these. So when I go out to the chicken coop in the morning, I take one with a little bit of water, enough water for the day in it, and I swap it out for the one that's frozen solid in the morning. We take it inside and put it in the tub so it can thaw out during the day, and that was what I just dumped out from this morning.
I love Henry, you love that.
So back behind our storage shed is where we keep our plow. So it mounts just to the front of the mule pretty easily. Typically before a big snow dump, we would go ahead and attach the plow to the front of the mule so that it's ready to go, because we will probably be plowing the driveway. But didn't get around to it today. So like I said, it's pretty easy to mount, so we can just do that tomorrow if we decide to plow. Otherwise, it might be a day or two before we plow, just depending on how much snow falls, what the temps are like, if it's going to warm up enough where snow melts and then freezes and turns to ice, all of that stuff. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the forecast, and we'll plow when necessary. And then when you come around the side of the cabin here, Eddie has cleared out space so that we can keep the mule parked in here. So we don't have to tarp that and get it ready for a big snow dump. But we also have the tire chains in here and a box ready to go. Bring it. we also make sure that Olivia's toys are up on the porch so they don't get hidden in the snow.
Watch your step, it's slippery.
Fresh water. Thirsty.
Little landscaping and 3 eggs. Not just in winter, but everything should be about efficiency on the homestead. So you see that took all of about 2 minutes. Winter is a little more challenging because of the water, but it takes about 10 to 15 minutes in the mornings and 10 to 15 minutes in the evenings, and that's all the chores we have for all of our sheep and all of our chickens. So that's pretty good. So in the summertime, or whenever it's not below freezing or down in the mid-20s or below, we use this for our water for the sheep. But in the wintertime, we use these smaller ones because that holds 25 gallons. So say say there's 15 gallons in it, that's like 120, 130 pounds of water frozen. And these weigh about 15 pounds when they're frozen. So much easier to take outside, dump, bring back in, and then fill up. And there's ice stuck, so you just go. These little tubs, pans are great because they're rubbery, they're flexible, they're not brittle, so they don't crack, and the flexibility allows you to break up the ice like that, so it makes it much easier. That's all there is to it.
So as you can see, the snow came this morning. So we were expecting it yesterday afternoon, evening, or overnight. But it held off until this morning, so we have a little bit of extra time to prep and do some of our typical chores that we didn't get to yesterday. One of them being like taking things out of the cabin, like trash, or emptying the compost toilet buckets. That way, when there's, you know, another foot or so of snow on the ground, we don't have to wade through that. We get a little bit of grace time before we have to do those chores again. So off to go take the trash out now.
with snowing pretty hard.
As you can see, after we have a good bit of snowfall, mostly our chores are just a lot of snow removal, water management, checking to see if the greenhouse roof needs to be cleared off. Typically, if we get very heavy snow that's going to stick to the plastic on the greenhouse, Eddie will take the snow rake and rake it all off. We were lucky in the fact that this snowfall happened to be like a very light, powdery, just soft, fluffy snow that would blow with the wind, and so it essentially just cleared itself off of the roof of the greenhouse, off of the solar panels, off of all of the usual places that we would need to clear it typically. Luckily, we had our dad come from down the road from his house to snowblow our driveway, so that was super helpful. We didn't, in fact, have to put the plow on the mule and plow the driveway for that very reason, so that was very nice and very appreciated. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time.